What's happening, people? Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
For me personally, I don't think it's going to be good for my mental health to watch this game, but of course, that is my job title. Uh, in the Flock League, I need the devs. It's just not going to happen. Like, it's stupid to even talk about. It's just not going to happen. Like, what I need to happen is just completely unrealistic, unless some sort of injuries happen. The devs have Jalen Hurts, Dobbs, and AJ Brown. Hurts, Dobbs, and AJ Brown, and they need 20 points. I mean, it's over. Ryan Fitzgerald, every single team that's played the Saints this year has just dominated them. Just dominated them. Thank you for nothing, Ryan Fitzgerald. Thank you for nothing. Thank you for 0 points. The Buffalo Bills this week decided that Miami is actually better than them. Miami's actually a good team. And they're going to give up 30 points. And don't get me started on the Bucky Irving stuff. I'm going to crash out. But you've pretty much won, right? I mean, you don't need anything?
No, I pretty much won. I'm gonna go 4-0 in the last 4 weeks in the Flock League. I beat Nick, the editor, who didn't have the best team, but I mean my team kind of goes off. I was a bit concerned because James Cook didn't have the best performance. Shakir didn't have the best performance at the time, at least when I was watching the game. But Tez catching a last minute touchdown, Dalton Schultz
Yeah.
catching a last minute touchdown, that really helped. Devontae Adams catching a touchdown also helped. So, and then Jared Goff obviously throwing 3 touchdowns also really
Sure.
helped. But next week is not easy. I'm going against Sal Vetri,
Yep.
but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if at the moment, if it stays the way it stands, I think I can jump up to now, which is crazy.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is
that's wild.
pretty crazy. All right. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. We do have a giveaway tonight. I'm not going to say any player names anymore out of respect to your fantasy teams. I'm not going to use code words. And I don't want to talk about it any more than that. So today's code word is MNF, Monday Night Football. Now, what could happen tonight that how could I ruin that? I don't know. Is there a way I could ruin Monday Night Football? I'm not sure. We'll find out. But that's the code word for today's giveaway. All you got to do is like the stream, type MNF, and we'll see. We'll see what's the power of our ability to sabotage tonight. We don't know. We'll find out. Appreciate y'all being here with us. We've got some questions that we're going to answer. Again, all you got to do to enter is like the stream and type MNF. And then before we log off for the day, we'll do a giveaway. Not too many questions today, so it could be a quicker stream. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. And of course, if you want to submit a question, you can do it through the Flock site. I'll put a link in the chat for you. It's already the pinned comment, but that is the best way to get your questions answered. Let's jump into Austin 16 here.
Yeah, Brees Hall, Brian Thomas, he is sending away for Achan and Brandon Ayuk. 12 teams start 7. Devon Achan going off, I think having like a 40 burger this week.
Yep.
Look, I want the Achan side. This is a dynasty question, so actually I don't want the Achan side. I still believe in Brian Thomas and Brees Hall. I think
Yeah.
Brian Thomas is still going to be better. I think his value is at the absolute low right now, and you're getting HN at the absolute height. And I think the same can be said for Brees Hall.
I'm not far off from this deal. I think there's definitely some wiggle room to get it done. I'd be curious if you could, for example, do like a pick swap where you get a first and you send back a second. I don't see a second round pick, so maybe you don't have a second round pick.
Yeah.
If that's not possible, instead of Brandon Ayuk, can that be someone else? Yeah,
Really no one
Devonta
else.
Smith maybe. I would be comfortable with. If that is Brandon Ayuk, can you get a couple seconds from them to make it work? I'm not too far off from making that deal.
Yeah.
Wamper sending a first for Bucky Irving. I don't even want to talk about
this is
it.
Dynasty.
I don't want to talk
I
about
think
it.
in Dynasty is fine. If you're trying to do this in Dynasty and try and compete right now, that might be a little bit difficult. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to be returning anytime soon. He's already been ruled out for Week 11, or unlikely to play for Week 11. I think I read that report. So, yeah, Dynasty long term, I'm okay with that. Still.
Yep, I will still prefer Bucky Irving, but I'm just in pain. I'm just in pain everywhere. Bori is able to send away a first, 2 seconds, Hurts, Neighbors, Jameson. My God. For Josh Allen, Derek, and Sutton, there's just no world that exists where I'm doing this trade. I'm so confused why anyone would be attracted by that offer, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, you prefer Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts, but Henry and Sutton are almost impossible to sell in Dynasty football.
Yeah, Henry doesn't really feel relevant in this trade.
Like, let's be real. Henry and Sutton, maybe they're worth a second apiece. So let's just take the seconds out in those names. And then let's look at it in this light. Would you pay Hurts a first, Neighbors, and Jameson for Allen and Nico? I just don't think I would. This just seems like way too much.
Yeah, I would agree.
So
I completely agree.
I'm a hard pass. I understand Josh Allen is worth a lot, but I'm definitely I'm going to keep the package there myself. We'll get to this team review tonight for sure from Akpink. But Andre Griborio 52 is here. Sending away Garrett Wilson and Quentin Johnston for AJ Brown and Alec Pierce.
Look, I'm not sure if Garrett Wilson is going to be startable for the rest of the season. 3 to 4 weeks. Look, I guess you're going to be able to start him in the playoffs, but like, are we going to be trusting him in the playoffs? That sounds crazy to say. But I mean, he hypothetically, worst case scenario is 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means he doesn't come back till week 15. Jacksonville, New Orleans, New England.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of risk here. And I think Alec Pierce and Quentin Johnston, I would say, are still equivalent to me the way they've been using Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, if you need to win right now, you know, there's no reason to have Wilson on the team. You know, AJ's been really disappointing as well, but he can of course turn that around in the playoffs. Jacksonville, New Orleans, New England, you mentioned, they're not bad matchups. I'm just wondering, will this be something for Garrett Wilson that will linger where, you know, they almost ask the question, all right, it's week 15. Is it worth bringing Garrett Wilson back when we're 1 in 13 or whatever they end up being at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that as well. And like, keep in mind, like, Garrett Wilson got injured the week before the bye, had a whole week to recover, essentially, and he still wasn't 100%. And he went out and played and then got injured. It's like, well, maybe he should have sat out this week, right? So I think it's just not going to be good for you to trade. Well, actually, in this perspective, I think I would want the AJ Brown, Alec Pierce, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Straight Pants would be sending away Jefferson and Bowers for Javonte and Egbuka. I want Javonte over Jefferson. I want Egbuka over Bowers, so I don't really see an issue with this. He already has McBride as his tight ends. I just don't see how you lose this deal.
Yeah, I would agree.
This seems like a win-win across the board to me.
Rashad, Vidal, Spears. Yeah, I mean, I'm there with you. You're really up to at the running back position.
Yep. Bose sending away Vidal and CeeDee Lamb for Etienne Harvey and Marvin Harrison. So Vidal is, you know, I had a trade in the works for Vidal, and I definitely should have taken it yesterday. But the problem with trading for Vidal is he is almost guaranteed to be useless when you need him the most, which is the fantasy playoffs. When Amarion Hampton is back, and all indications say that's after the bye week, Vidal becomes just a useless name for your team. So the way I would view this is you're sending away CeeDee Lamb. You're getting back Etienne, Harvey, Marvin. Now, Harvey will probably be the starter for this team, but who knows with Sean Payton. The issue is Dobbins has a good chance to be back in the playoffs, and the playoff schedule is atrocious for the Bronco running backs. So I like Harvey as a throw in there, but I don't love him being a big reason why I'm moving on from CD. But Marvin and Travis, it's not a terrible deal. It's a start 8. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible deal, like you said. It is.
He'd have Etienne and Chase Brown as the starters. He does need running back help.
I think there's enough to get something here. He has Rome, Keenan, Jefferson. His wide receivers will be Marvin. Add Marvin to that. Now Marvin got targeted a shit ton, but only caught 3 of those 12 targets.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like his day was pretty much saved by that touchdown, where they essentially needed to throw the ball, right? Like it should have been I felt like even a higher day for him, higher scoring day for him. But I'm okay with this trade.
Yeah,
I'm also interested to know a little bit more about J.K. Dobbins. Like, I know I've read a report that that he could come back, but he's gonna miss time. Like, how much time? And the bye week as well. I think he has 2 good matchups there with Washington and Vegas at the other side of the bye. So, just depends.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough to lose CeeDee Lamb, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I would agree.
A lot of people are asking about Bucky Irving, so I think we should. I don't really want to talk about it, but I guess we should because we haven't yet. I have purposely avoided it because it's painful. So the reports that come out around Bucky Irving, let's tell you guys everything that we know. So here's what we know about Bucky Irving. No timetable for return. And that is now a player that you were told would be a 2 to 3 week absence when the injury originally happened. This was week 4 versus the Eagles. And what's crazy is he stayed in that game with all these shoulder issues and still ended up with like 165 all-purpose yards. And you were told it'll be a couple weeks. Well, surprise. It's now been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're about to be 7 weeks. We're about to be 7 weeks with no Bucky Irving. And there is no timeline on when he will return. They're not comfortable giving a timeline. Now, they've talked about it. What did he say? He said Bucky Irving. There was more to this. I'm trying to find it. Todd Bowles says it's a shoulder injury that's keeping him out. So the foot is completely fine.
It says along the lines like
they need to make sure he can take contact to his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly, before he returns to the game action. So like, how long is that going to be? No idea, but.
So basically, they said he has to be able to take a hit before returning. Too soon to know if that's this week or not. Now, they haven't officially ruled him out yet, if I'm not mistaken. But it's almost guaranteed he's not going to play this week.
Yeah, it's already in the reports and like he's not expected to play in week 11. So
which is weird because this is exactly what the IR was created for teams. It's exactly what the IR was made for. It would have been an easier pill to swallow if when the injury happened, he was going on IR. And you at least knew there was a certain period of time that you would be without him. But there's no timeline. So I don't know, man. If I had to guess, I would say that if they planned on doing some sort of season-ending injury, that would have happened a long time ago. Like, the Bucks are stupid the way that they're handling this, but they're not that dumb. Where if he needed season-ending injury, they would have just been like, okay, let's just we know you need that. Let's just wait multiple weeks. So if I had to like guess, I'd probably say like somewhere between the range of week 12 to 14. But it's a guess. I don't know that the Bucks really know themselves at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be based on how Bucky feels. And I think him playing that whole game, knowing that his shoulder hurt, probably really messed it up. Because
I don't think we know that at all. That's just pure speculation, to be honest.
I guess like he was saying, there was a report saying that, oh, by the way, and there's a shoulder injury. Like it was he went out for a foot and he was like, oh, what's holding him back here is the shoulder.
Yeah.
Not the foot, you know?
Yeah, so, but there's no, it's just speculation to say that it was hurt further by being in that game. We don't know that answer, but.
No, sure about, yeah, fair.
So guys, I have no idea. You know, the thing is, if you knew he was back for the playoffs, most of you would have no reason to sell because the playoff schedule is awesome. You know, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami. So, but we don't know that. We really don't. What player would you sell Bucky Irving for?
You like RJ Harvey?
Oh. Well, that's not going to
happen. No, I mean, look, I don't think anyone is selling Bucky Irving unless you are deep into the playoffs. You're 9-1, 8-2 type of situation, and you're saying I'd rather have Bucky Irving. And right now, I made it to the playoffs with a name. I made it to 9-1 with like a Chase Brown, a DeAndre Swift, a Jalen Warren. Those guys are playing now.
Yeah,
those guys are healthy.
There's very few people in your league that can trade for Bucky Irving. You know, it's only the guys who have pretty much locked up a number 1 seed, number 2 seed. They know they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you have limited options.
Yeah. So, like right now, the 1 and 2 seed in our league, and specifically the Flock League, I don't think they would trade. Or they have better, like for example, the only person that will probably be able to trade for Bucky Irving, which I know you probably won't do this, but it would be Mason with Breece Hall.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade for Breece Hall.
Yeah. But that is a type of situation that, like, if you are a Bucky Irving owner and you're right on the cusp of trying to make the playoffs, that's probably something you might have to do. Yeah. To try and keep your season alive.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we know right now. Black Cat says, first, a top 3 McDaniels should be the Texans OC next year. Okay. The first is top 3, I guess, that they're getting. Is that how you're reading that?
Yeah, first is the top 3. McDaniels should be the Texans OC next year.
Just like
right.
like a comment.
Yeah, sure.
McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach. You know, not everybody can do both.
Yeah. Sending away Kyle Pitts, Jaden Daniels in a second for a top 3 pick, CJ Stroud and Brock Bowers. This is Dynasty 2 quarterback. I mean, right now I would rather keep Jaden Daniels over a name like Brock Bowers in a top 3 pick. I'm not sure about this quarterback room. I know specifically quarterback class. I know Mendoza has been the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Most likely he'd probably most likely be the case, or one of these wide receivers, or Jeremiah Love. So I still believe in Jaden Daniels, and right now his value is at an all-time low. So
Yeah. I mean, Brock Bowers in a tight end premium is definitely interesting there, but I would agree I'd prefer to keep Jaden Daniels still. But yeah,
and until CJ Stroud gets an offensive line,
CJ is just not startable.
like I was watching that game and Davis Mills was looking better than him.
Yeah,
Like at
that
times,
Davis
like
Mills is better than him.
no, not saying absolutely not. I'm just saying like he just looked like he was moving the ball better, and obviously he did more like check downs and stuff, which is a little bit easier. But CJ is always looking down the field, which maybe that is the downfall when you don't have an offensive line and you have like these methodical routes with all these players. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just give the ball to Woody Marks. Check it down a little more. I don't know. Yeah, look, it's not an unreasonable value. If that's like a 0.5 tight end premium, probably definitely going Daniels. If it's like a full point premium, then I think you can justify taking Brock Bowers there.
Yeah.
But I do still think it's a terrible time to sell Jaden Daniels. Hunter here, sending away Bucky Irving and Rashee Rice for Saquon and Nico.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Similar situation that we were talking about earlier. If you need a running back, this is a move you're going to have to make, unfortunately.
If you need to win right now, get into the playoffs, then you kind of have to do something like this.
Yeah, I hate giving up Rashee Rice, though. I think I would rather have Rome. I wonder if you can do Rome instead of Nico. Maybe that's too much to ask. But other than that,
Nico looked pretty good.
No, yeah, I'm not saying. I think I just feel more confident with Rome still long term. I think these guys are really close. But yeah, Nico did look good.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is one of those where if you're guaranteed to get into the playoffs and you knew Bucky Irving was back, there's just not a chance you would take the Saquon Nico side. It would be heavily Bucky Rice. But we don't know that answer. So if you need to get in, I can understand why you would go with the Nico side of this. I'm going to refresh. I think we have one more question. We got a team review we need to get to from Akpank as well. But Agato says, I'm last in this league and looking to trade JT. Wow.
Gosh, if you're last in the league and you have Jonathan Taylor, that's rough.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, maybe you have your team linked. You do. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Burrows, Woody. So you don't have an RB2.
What happened to your receivers? There's no way this is the receiver room he drafted, though.
Yeah, who was your first pick here at the wide receiver room? I guess Jonathan Taylor was his first pick. Who's his second pick?
Jonathan Taylor is the only player on this team that you would have thought would have been drafted in the first 5 rounds.
But even then, like Jonathan Taylor didn't even go in the first round for our league. So did you take?
Maybe they had an injured Neighbors or something.
That's true. You could have had Neighbors. Yeah, that's rough. This is a rough one. But like, look, the trade makes sense. Getting Saquon and Drake, you boosted your wide receiver room and you get another running back. He said lost Burrow, Neighbors, and Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Yeah, right. So I'm assuming your second pick was it was Neighbors, Jonathan Taylor, and then you probably took Tyreek Hill as your third overall pick.
I wonder if we can add Pittman to the trade. This guy that you're trading with has like nothing to offer you back outside of Rashee Rice, so that doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, look, it's not an unfair offer, but Jonathan Taylor is really hard to sell right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. I think me looking at your team is like, yeah, I'll take Saquon and Drake and Jonathan Taylor's not going to help you win this week because he's on a bye.
Yeah, so that's true. I'm fine with the Saquon London side. It's just so tough to get rid of the best player in fantasy, but I get it. What's up, Mouth says Dynasty. I'm looking for an RB, looking to move Worthy for Marks for an RB in Worthy's value. Love you, brother. Okay, so sending away Xavier Worthy for Woody Marks in Dynasty. What do we think about that?
Yeah, I'm still gonna keep Xavier Worthy. I like Woody Marks. I'm just not sure he is the long-term answer for this offense. I think they might be one of those teams that go out and gets a running back. Do they draft a running back here? Does Breece Hall go to
Yeah.
this team?
Yeah.
I just would still rather keep Xavier Worthy.
What if you could get a second round pick on this and send a third? Maybe that makes it a little easier.
Yeah, I mean, it
But
softens the blow a little bit for
the
sure.
reality is Xavier Worthy's value is not going to, unless an injury occurs, like it's not going to implode. As much as I love Woody, the Texans could draft someone that could bring someone in free agency, and then we could be viewing him as just another guy. So I think it's really risky to do that. I wonder what KTC has like as equivalent.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's see. So Woody, I bet you he's like page 3. Let's see. Do we have a Woody Marks here? So they have Woody.
28.
What I meant to do is go to Xavier Worthy. Hold on. I just want to see what their equivalent names are. So they have names like Chase Brown, which I don't even know if I would do that. Javonte Williams, I don't think that's realistic. Ken Walker feels realistic, although I'm not sure how much I'm sold on that. Travis Etienne. Warren is there. Yeah, I mean, none of these guys feel very safe, do they?
No.
Yeah, I understand the pickle you're in. I think you're taking on a lot of risk by making that kind of move. That's what I would say. I think you're taking on a ton of risk if you do this move. But if you can get like a second round pick, I think that makes it a little bit easier to manage. All right, let's do this review from Ink Pack. They want to get their team reviewed. Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's do that really quick. Let us know if you're here in the chat. We appreciate you. He says, been unable to sell Baker. Do we try and sell Josh Allen? How are we building going forward with CMC hitting 30? So it says this is a redraft, but is this Dynasty? The way he's talking is kind of Dynasty.
It's submitted as a redraft team. Is he here?
I have
Is
no
he
idea.
in the chat with us?
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no picks, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, the language he used around it was like...
I just would be shocked if like Tez Johnson's on the waiver wire in a dynasty league.
Yeah. 12 teams start 8. I mean,
Blake Corum in a dynasty league. I doubt this is a dynasty. Elijah Arroyo is almost never available in dynasty leagues. This is probably not a dynasty league.
No. Like I said, that the language around it kind of felt like it was okay.
Yeah, C-Mac hitting 30 is a little confusing. It could be a keeper.
Yeah, it could be, but normally they have it. But here, we'll have a look. Struggle Bus is your name. You're 5-4, and you're currently ranked second according to the rankings. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. You have CMC, Rico, Woody, Mason, Kamani, Vidal at the wide receiver, Nico, Zay, Shakira, Debo with Gazdin, and David Njoku. Untradables would definitely be CMC and Josh Allen. Will be your untradables, I would say. I don't think there's anyone else that is untradeable on your team here. Waiver wires, I think Tez Johnson is somebody who's worth picking up for sure. I think that's a big pickup there. If you can get him. Blake Corum is somebody. He's been getting more work on a week-to-week basis, which is interesting. And then who else? I think that's about it right now. I would say, no, I was gonna say Jawan Johnson, but I don't think he's worth picking up. Cut forecast, guys that you can cut here today. I mean, I'm happy. The easy one, which I'm assuming you have an IR spot. You still have Joe Mixon and Darren Waller on your team. Once again, assuming those guys are on IR, I'm happy to cut those guys. But if you want, I think you can cut a name like Calvin Ridley as well. Today, if you wanted to, but in order, Darren Waller, Joe Mixon, then Calvin Ridley, I will be dropping. I think the team overall is good. I think Rico's helping you. Wide receivers aren't the strongest, but are good enough. I'll say this is kind of like a B-, B flat type of team for me.
Yeah, I'll go B flat. I just think because there's so many top end names, I think it's better than a B minus. I'll go B flat with you. I just think like the top end names like the CMC, the Allens, those are guys that can carry you 2 wins weekly on their own. But yeah, pretty good team. Thinking about that lineup, it's probably Allen, CMC, Dowdle, Nico, Tet, or Zay, Gadsden, then the other wide receiver in the flex, and either Woody or Shakir or Debo. I definitely would feel free to cut Calvin if you've mentioned that, and Mixon, and you mentioned Tez, you mentioned Blake, but I would not really be concerned about making those moves and worrying about Calvin being something later on. Thinking about ways to improve this roster. We can't really sell Jordan Mason anymore. He's not really worth anything at this point. But I wonder if you can move Vidal if you package him with like a... What do you think about like a Vidal and a Zay Flowers or something? Find a running back needy team. Or even Tetairoa McMillan. Either of those names. And then ideally make an upgrade at receiver. I think that would be my ideal scenario. I don't think you have, he mentioned like, do I sell Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield? I don't think you have enough needs to do that personally. I'd rather go this route. I don't know where you sit, Badaki, but
I think like he was basically saying, unable to sell Baker, do I sell Josh Allen? It's like, well, then just keep Baker then and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I know they both had their bye, but if you can't sell Baker, then maybe it's just worth holding.
Yeah. All right. Obi-Wan Mahomes. I'm just seeing if there's like some names that could make sense. They have George Pickens. Would you sell Vidal and Zay Flowers for George Pickens?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Probably would. That. I would probably do that for McMillan as well. Like either of those ideas. Why don't I just say here that McMillan is interchangeable with Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
In all deals. So we'll kind of just make life a little bit easier there. But George Pickens, I think, makes sense. That guy also has a need at running back. Stevenson was limited in practice today. I think that's an estimation, though, because it's a Thursday night game. But that is going to potentially be really annoying for Trayvon Henderson owners.
Yeah, that's crazy if they just give Stevenson the keys back.
I don't see why they, based off of everything they've done this year, why
they wouldn't.
They would eliminate Stevenson. Doesn't seem like that's their nature, but I could be wrong. I'm still sketchy on Olave. He had a great game. I'd still more lean towards selling him than buying him right now. I don't know about you, but with the way that offense looks. So I don't really want to do that. Let's see. The guy who has Swift at RB2 and no one behind him, I wonder if you could get like a Roma Dunze. I would be willing to do that. Let's go from the bottom. Bees Mobs has T. Higgins now.
Yeah.
Lab McConkey. I would do it for Lab McConkey.
Yeah, same.
Which he was a great buy low earlier this year. Garrett Wilson. No, we're not going to do it for Garrett Wilson. Oh my gosh.
This guy has no running backs.
Which one is this?
I feel like Bucky Amarion, JK.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I
know. How that guy is 4 and 5. That's crazy.
Yeah, legit.
Devontae Adams for sure. We don't know if he is gonna miss any time with that back strain. I think he'll be okay, but it did keep him out of this latest game.
The report said that he was able to come back in, but they were kind of already up and leading, so he didn't.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to monitor that this week. I think those are the main names that will make sense based off of the teams that are needing running back help. But I'd be doing anything to try and get some value out of Vidal. And look, if you can't, then I don't think you really necessarily need to make a move right now. Team's already pretty well rounded. You could look at, packaging Shakir and Flowers. Mason and Shakir, Debo and any of these names, Vidal. Really what you want to keep intact is CMC, Dowdle, Woody, Nico, Gadsden, Allen. Outside of that, there's packageable names across the board here, really.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps, man. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. You should be receiving your playbook here within the next 48 to 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message System. Go to the device tab, then click on message. That's exactly where you should be able to find your customized playbook.
Yep. Let's go through. Let's say 3 questions in the chat at random, and then we'll do this giveaway. By the way, if you want to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is like the stream and type MNF today. HBC, we've talked about Bucky in depth. My heart can't take talking about him anymore, so go back on the stream if you want to hear our opinion on it. I will not answer any more Bucky Irving questions today. I can't take it. I just can't do it. Dur Captain said, any opinion on Tyrone Tracy? Dayball hated him, so what are we thinking about his volume going forward? I don't know if it's fair to say Dayball hated him, to be honest, because last year Dayball let a 5th-round rookie end up taking over his backfield, and clearly Cam Scotaba was better. And even this last game, Tyrone Tracy led the way for the team. So I'm not sure it's fair to say that he hated him. Do you have any strong opinion on that as a Giants fan?
I mean, I would agree. I don't think he said he hated him. I think it's just going to be right in that same situation. It's probably just going to be a rotation. I don't think there's going to be anything different when it comes down to the usage of Tyrone Tracy. He just is not. He's just not explosive. I think that's the difference, right? But neither is Singletary.
He was last year for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like this year he just feels slow. He looks slow, but maybe that was because we're looking at it versus Cam Scotaba and like how he was hitting the hole and stuff.
That's question 1 out of 3. And by the way, I mean, there is change, so that can't be. I don't think it can be worse for Tyrone if you put it that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Let's answer some of we got 2 more questions left. Would you trade away Chase Brown for Rashee Rice? Come on, man. Of course we would. Of course we would take Rashee Rice.
If you can do that, that's crazy.
You know the answer there.
That's crazy.
Let's see. When Jalen McMillan returns, Tez will be a ghost. Well, that's not a question. That's just an opinion there. Andreezy is asking, Chris Godwin, will he be back for the playoffs? Good question.
I hope not.
Good question.
Selfishly. But like, are you going to be starting Chris Godwin with confidence in the playoffs? I don't think anyone would. And he's also expected to miss week 11 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, there's no timetable. It's him and Bucky.
Yeah, it was him and Bucky in that same report. So
Sammy approached me trying to sell me Chris Godwin. I was just like, dude,
I almost bought him.
I'm
thinking that he was going to come back.
I don't have any interest.
Yeah. And that was before he went to Sammy. I was going to send away I think it was Troy Franklin for Chris Godwin, thinking that he'll be back this week because he had the bye. But after that report, it's like, nah.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't do it.
It's genuinely mind-boggling that somehow Joe Burrow is going to be back before Bucky Irving, potentially.
Yeah, it makes me feel some type of way. Should have kept him in my IR. Yeah.
Who was on your IR?
There was other people that was on my IR that I needed to drop, that I just needed to make moves. It wasn't happening. I forgot who it was.
All right, last question. Let's go to Eli Ramirez, Alec Pierce, Jameson Williams, Zay Flower, Wandale, rest of season, pick one. Which is an impossible question to answer. I am so happy that as soon as I sold Jameson Williams, they started to use him the way I envisioned. Fantasy.
I mean, they started using him in the second half, though. To be fair, but they used him, I guess. It just looked that whole second drive, that second half, just looked very intentional for Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
Well, if I had to choose one of these names, I don't think any of them are going to be consistently awesome. They're all going to be up and down. They're all going to have boom bust games.
In order for me, just based off of like the performance so far this year and the fantasy finishes, and obviously it's going to be on a week-to-week basis on who we would want. So it's also kind of hard to answer. Right now, it's Wandell, Jameson, Alec Pierce, and Zay.
Really? Zay last?
Yeah.
I want to see what the chat thinks. There's a poll in the chat. I do think most people are going to say Alec. I really liked Alec coming out. I'm not really someone who believes that, like, Pittman and Downs are just, they're too good to not be involved. Tyler Warren's a superstar. As good as Alec Pierce is, I just don't see how he is consistently this good. You know, I think you're going to have plenty of games under 10 points. But clearly he's shown a ceiling.
I think, like, yeah, it's hard because he has been out-snapping Josh Downs.
Well, he's always going to do that. Downs is a slot player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to say. But, like, still, it just makes you see that, like, he's kind of getting those targets there as well when he is on the field. So,
yeah. The honest answer is I have no idea. But if I had to choose one, Jameson's really interesting because of the playoff schedule.
Yeah.
But
I think it's week-to-week basis, honestly. And I think that's the hard part. If you have all these guys on your team, that's great. You should be happy. But if these guys are on your waiver wire right now, week to week.
But they're not. They're not on anyone's waiver wire, probably. But if you had to pick one, it would be based off a matchup every week. Yeah, but it's nice to see the poll there. 33% people saying Zay Flowers. You had 28% Jameson, 25% Pierce, and 14% Wandale Robinson. All right, guys, that is it for today. You can always catch us on the Flock site if you have a question that you need answered. We do appreciate y'all. Good luck on Monday Night Football. We do need to do this giveaway quickly, so let's do that. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so we've got 39 entries. 39 entries. 39. And let's do the start sit first. Let's see. Start
Good
sit
luck, guys. Good luck.
Goes to Zachary Wallace. And then the trade question voucher is going to go to, let's see, the name is Cold Feet 33T6. So both of you guys, DM me on Discord. There's my username. Tell me your Flock Fantasy username and send me a screenshot of a YouTube account. If you don't have a Flock account yet, create one for free with the code LAND. But that's it, guys. I appreciate y'all. And wait, we do have one more question that just popped through. Let's answer that, and then we're going to call it a day from Leon. Flowers or Sutton, worth it with what I have left? He would send away Judkins and Zay or Sutton for Jacobs. Judkins has been dominant from a usage perspective, but, you know, the Browns are just not a good offense, which has made it harder for him.
Offense. Yeah, I'd take J.K. Dobbins here. This is a 10-team start, 7.
I think you meant Josh Jacobs there, but...
Sorry, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, you're probably not even starting Zay Flowers, maybe, depending on your team. So, like, give me Josh Jacobs, a better up tier at the running back position.
I would say if you had to send Zay or Sutton away, though, probably going to send away Sutton.
Yeah, that's hard. So interesting, the whole, like, how they're just not targeting him, but maybe it's just I don't know.
Just don't
I
like
know
the
what's
rest of the
going
season
on.
schedule for Sutton either, so that definitely plays a part in my answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you have an opinion between those two names?
For me, it would still be Zay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate y'all. I think that's it for today. Good luck on Monday Night Football. I hope whatever you need to happen happens. Mine is guaranteed not to, but I hope whatever your needs are will come to light. Love.
Love.